Good afternoon and welcome everyone to the Trading Talk, the Uncensored live Q&A session. My name is Danny and I will give you the webinar today. Before we will begin, I would like us to go through how the webinar is going to happen. We'll open the nice presentation here and go through the structure. So the first part will be the previous questions that we received from our team, which is these questions we're going to go through and do our best to answer them. The second part is actually the true purpose of this webinar. This unique concept of live questions and answers gives you the ability to enjoy answers on trading queries that you have live on the screen. That means you guys get the opportunity to just use the question section and ask me whatever you want regarding trading, and I'll do my best to jot it down right here at the slide. And then similarly to this, we're going to go through them and we'll do our best to answer them. Okay, that's the second part. The third part is more informative. It's just sharing with you some links here to save you the trouble to find it by yourself, which could be handy sometimes if you have other questions after the webinar. And that bit here is perhaps can help us understand analysis approach, fundamental and technical analysis. We'll get to that, but usually we're covering analysis through the questions. If we'll have spare time, we're not going to do that through the questions, so perhaps we'll give a bit of time to cover analysis. But nothing too advanced. Don't worry. All right. Okay, so this is the structure. It's important to know that any capital markets and trading information disclosed in this webinar is provided for informative purposes only and should not be constructed or applied as an investment advice, recommendation, or a suggestion. Okay. Before we will begin, I would like to say that the webinar is recorded. This is one of the most frequent questions that we get. If we can watch the webinar again, the answer is absolutely yes. Majority, if not all, the webinars that we give in AvaTrade are recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. So all you gotta do to watch the webinar again is just to go to YouTube, search for AvaTrade for our channel, and in this channel you can find a lot of content, all the previous webinars and other things as well. So it's really that easy. Okay, so let's just go through the questions and see what we can begin with. Okay, so the first question that we have here is, can we get signals from AvaTrade? Okay. Second question is, will Bitcoin get to 100,000? That's okay. It's an interesting question. Although I would change it from will to can, right? Because if it will get, nobody knows. If it can get, definitely. We're also going to look at the chart and understand the reasons it's fluctuating and so on. The third question here is, how can I find what is currently worth trading? Okay, this also can be found in the website. I'm going to show you that in 10 seconds. What is a good risk and reward ratio to work with? Okay, risk reward or risk and reward. Yeah, well, let's keep it as it was, just like that. And simply going to take the question here and put it in our lovely notepad. All right, I'm gonna fold it down. Okay. Now, this interface, for the people who are unaware, is called a web trader. It is super easy to get to here. You just log in with your email and password. This is the default screen. Sometimes it looks like that with lists. Above that and to the left, we have this list, which we can go manually and find what we want. Okay, if I don't want that, I can just expand the screen all the way. This is on the browser. You don't have to download or install anything. You just, like I said, log in with your email and password and go to the web trader. Okay, that's what it's called. Also, we have an app called the trading app. You can find similar interface. I'm explaining about that because what I'm going to show, of course, can be applied on MT4 and MT5, but the interface here offers certain things that you can only find here, particularly the signals. Okay, so if we have a look at the question we have here, can we get signals from AvaTrade? The answer is yes and no. AvaTrade does not produce signals, okay? Trading Central does. And when I go to the signal section, as you can see, there is a lightning icon here. And if I'll fold it down, there is also a lightning icon here. That also leads us to the signals. So that means that if I'm going to click here on the blue lightning icon, then I have the signal opened, okay, with pre-analysis, and then I can expand the chart and I can do what I can do further analysis. But if I don't want to, and I just want to use the signal right away, just look how easy that is. I'm just clicking on this one time, and then I choose a scenario, what I prefer. Let's say that in this particular case, I would go with a buy, just as an example. Okay, and here we go. Okay, maybe I don't like the ratio, so I can play with it and just change it to what I prefer. Okay, and then I have it ready and I can just click here buy. Now this is one way, and this is a way to see it from the lists outside. But if I and in here I can see all the details, and in here I can see all the details of the signal. I can also see that it was provided by the Trading Central and not AvaTrade, which is a third-party vendor. And in here, I can choose again the scenario, and I click sell or buy. Now we'll talk a little more into depth how the signal is constructed and why does it make a difference seeing it from here to seeing it from here. The advantage on when I'm seeing it from the outside is that I could choose a particular asset and see if it has a signal or not. Let's suppose that my portfolio is diverse with maybe 3 or 4 assets. So I don't want to go through the hustle of going onto the signal section and look manually where I am, what I want, right? So if I want gold, I have to go all the way down here and find gold, right? And then click it, and I have the signal open. So if I want to do it from the outside, and I don't want to go through the hustle to find it manually in the list, but I want to know if gold has a signal or not, all I have to do is just to type here gold, just like that, and I'm going to pick it from the list. And when I pick it from the list, it already tells me that it has a signal. Now I can click in here and see exactly what I need, right? When it was produced. This image here is daily, so perhaps I want to also match the validity of my screen. So just by going here, I'm going to click here on the time frame, just go down, click here on 1D for days, and voila, we have the same validity of the signal. Now this is one way, and the advantage again is to find it from the outside of the from this area and not from the signals area. But the advantage on doing it from the signals area, signal section, okay, so let's click it. Okay, I want you guys to understand the difference. This is the signal section, this is the default screen. Okay, this is the default screen. Every time I want to go back, I don't have to think of a way. I just click here on the icon and it sends me back. Okay, so wherever else I'm on the website, I can always go back to the chart within 3 seconds. Now, if I'll go back to the signals, so I'm clicking here on the signal section, and we can see here the lists with all kind of signals. And the biggest advantage is I can see when they were produced. I want to clarify something. Do you think, guys, that there is a difference using a signal that was produced just a few minutes ago or a signal from 5 hours ago? Will there be a difference? What do you think, guys? Will there be a difference between a signal from 10 minutes ago to 5 hours ago when it was produced? Let me just remind you that the signal is produced with a certain agenda to a certain price. This is when the signal was produced. So that means that with this in mind, there are certain levels that I'm expecting the Brent oil to get to. Okay, either up or down. Now, because those levels can be achieved as time goes by, the validity of this signal can be expired. How does that work? Because there are certain levels that we are expecting Brent oil to get to. If I'll take something a little older than those recent signals, like Dow Jones as an example, I'm going to click here on the signal and I wish to use the signal. Again, going with buy or sell. And it's telling me, Danny, the market has already reached a key level. In other words, the levels that were expected to get to was already fulfilled. Okay, and that happens, and that makes the signal here, it's not going to work. Okay, if I click here, buy or sell, you will see that I get no take profit or stop loss. Okay, but if I'll go for something recent like here, of course, it's still valid and I can use both scenarios, whatever I prefer. And again, I can adjust it if I want. Okay. All right, it's really that simple. It's really that simple. Something that we added recently, you don't have to go into the signal section every time to look for signals. On your mobile device, you have the ability to okay, well, it looks different. I can't show it from here, but on your mobile device, when you scroll across the signals, you're going to have here a gray toggle, and this gray toggle is going to allow notifications with signals on your device. Okay, you can do that on your phone. This is a desktop version. Of course, I can do it here, but on your phone, it looks a bit different, and you can enable push notifications to your device. Now, quickly, let's recap what take profit and stop loss are, just for the people who are complete beginners and don't know how the signals are constructed. Let's take crude oil instead. Okay, I want to diverse as much as we can. Okay, so as you can see, the signal is constructed very simply. There are levels of support and resistance. Again, this is daily, so I'm going to match it to the same validity. The reason that I want to do that, guys, just again to clarify as we go along, is that if we are now at 1 minute, okay, currently if I quickly go through the toolbar, we have here indicators, we have here some lines that I've placed, I can place another one. We have here the crosshair, so without it, if I'll go across the chart, I get no numbers from the candles. So to get the numbers from the candles, I'm going to click here on the crosshair, click here on crosshair, and when I move with my mouse across the screen, I have the data. Okay, if I don't want that, I can go back. Here I can change the layout. We're not gonna, the candlesticks or line. And in here at the beginning of the toolbar, we have the time frame. So because in here there is the image here is daily image. The higher resistance, which is 69.9, is not visible. It's not visible because it's a higher level that I cannot see. In order to see the level, the higher level, what I want to do is I can do it in two ways. Okay, I'll teach you a nice trick. If I'll click here at the column area, you see the column area is around somewhere here, okay, where the prices are summarized. If I click and drag up or down, okay, so let me just demonstrate, click up or down, I can then squeeze the chart and allow myself to see higher levels. However, this is not high enough, and of course, because we're looking at minutes and the picture here is daily, again, to simplify, that means that every candle here presenting a day, in here, every candle presents a minute. This is why I cannot extend higher and see the 69 that I'm looking for. What I have to do is I have to click here on the time frame, and I scroll down. As you can see, I have maximum of 2 hours. So if I want more, I can click here on the toggle. It's a bit funky to. Okay, so I can just scroll down, right? I can scroll down, up and down with a wheel on my mouse. And then I pick one day, and then very, very easily we can have the higher levels that we are looking for. Okay, so if the numbers gets funky around the precise number, so what I want to go for is 69.9. I can just place this line anywhere on the chart, and then I click it twice and change the coordinates to what I want. What will happen is, let's also click, just a second, we'll click apply, and it jumps to where I want it. Okay, which is a nice technique to blend the lines as you want. Let's go for the lower one as well, 67.67 flat. So again, I can place it anywhere, just maybe here. And then to change to what we want, 67, we'll paint it red. Okay, and we have the upper line, the lower line. We're not going to extend more than that because we don't want to waste all of our time just using the signal section. Okay, but this is a nice way to construct the same levels and perhaps do your additional analysis. Okay, I'll give you a warm advice. I like to do analysis on top of signals if I'm using or something else. I always like to have my own my own analysis, and I'm using it as an additional layer and not solely. All right, so very, very easily from this point, all I have to do is just to click sell or buy. As you can see, there are take profit and stop loss, TP short for take profit, SL stop for stop loss. Let's go down, this time let's go with a buy. So clicking here on buy. And again, very easily, we have take profit and stop loss. Again, if I don't like that, I can just modify whatever numbers I want and to move it up or down as I want. I can also modify the lot size. I don't have to use the signals as they are. Maybe I want to go for a lower position, for a smaller position, because I don't want to go with one lot in the signal. I want to see if it's good or not. So I can just make it 0.1, and my results will potential results will change accordingly. All right, so this is really 3 clicks away from having a signal going. Okay, super simple. All right, so do we have any questions about what we went through? Any questions? Anything that is not understood, guys? Please feel free. When should I? Okay, so there is a question from Alicia. When should I use the signals? Whenever you would like. The signals are here. You can use it. Like I said, it's. I'm not sure that I understood your question, but you can use it whenever you want. All right, so let's carry on. I think this is enough. Okay, let's put that at the. Okay, so yes, you can enable push notifications on your your smartphone, right? It has to be an app, or use the signals section on the AvaTrade trading app, because again, we saw the desktop version, but there is also an app. Okay, I think that's enough. Right, so well, this is actually, I'm laughing because this is very I'm using an interesting question. Will Bitcoin get to 100,000? Okay, so of course nobody can know that. Nobody can. Okay, so let's go back again. We are still in the signal section. We're just gonna hover back to the original interface. Click here on AvaTrade, and we are back. Okay, there is a question here. There is a question here. Hi, just joined after you started. How do I get this platform? Every time I log in, it goes to my dashboard. Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay. So, Mr. Rafiloe, you're asking how I got to this platform because you joined a bit late. I guess you didn't catch the first part when I just explained that this platform is embedded in our website. And to get to here, all you have to do is just to log in with your email and password and click on Web Trader or Web Trading. And you're supposed to see exactly that. And if it doesn't work, you can go here to the customer service. It looks a bit different on your dashboard, right? What you can do is you can go chat with us and you will receive assistance regarding that. Okay. I hope it helps. I hope it answers your question. Let's still paste it in here. Okay, and the answer for that is simply click on Web Trader Trading. And again, you're supposed to see exactly that. Oh, sorry, first you must. Okay, it's already stated here that you were logged to the website, so we're not going to write it down. There is a question here from Thamasnaka. Do the signals specify which lot size to use? No, that's not. It's not how the signal works. The signals are solely providing you with the lot size will be selected by default, but can be changed after the signal was after a scenario, a buy sell scenario was selected in the signal, okay, which is presented here at the order entry panel. So that means that if I'll choose, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. Let's choose Euro AUD. And I want to know what the lot size that I'm going to use. So of course I can't do it from here, but first I must click sell or buy, and then in my order entry I can modify which lot size to use. As you saw, I started with 3.5, so I can just modify that to 0.3 or even 0.03, okay, and so on and so on. The lot size needs to come from you, Tamasanka, and it's not from the signal. Okay. So for Bitcoin, if it will get to 100,000, this is really something we have to ask, maybe prophecy or someone else, right? But I'm just a human being, so I cannot know if it will get there or not. My personal opinion, if it will get there, it might. Again, if you see the momentum here, we are talking about imaginary momentum. Let's just quickly capture what we have here. Okay, so you guys can see that the momentum here, as I described, is quite imaginary. Even for Bitcoin, these movements are considered. Maybe it will be easier to see it in weeks. Yeah, most definitely. Right, so we can see. Just a second. It's bothering us a bit with a red trash can. Okay, as you can see, the rise here is quite imaginary. We're looking at 43%. From what we see, the highest that it's been was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. No, it's been higher than that. It's been higher than that. And as you can see, just a few months ago in the beginning of the year, or maybe earlier in the year, around March, it was touching the 74. I don't think that it had ever got there. See, the highest that it's been is 73,771.5, but not beyond that. And now, first time in history, around as soon as this is, by the way, who knows why Bitcoin is flying and gold is diving? Who has any idea why we're looking at this imaginary uptrend? Anybody has a clue? The election. Okay. Thank you, Billy. Election caused that. But how did the election cause that, Billy? If you can share with us your insights. Since Trump was elected, economy change. Yeah, exactly. So with this in mind, and we understand that fundamental analysis has a very, very big role in trading. We cannot just ignore that. Okay, and the reason that Bitcoin is flying around is the election, as you know, after Trump was elected. Correct, exactly. Can also reply that Trump's tweet. So we understand it has significant impact on the market, not just Bitcoin, by the way. Not just Bitcoin. If I'll compare it to the biggest safe haven, let's also say a few words about gold. Maybe now it begins to okay. As you can see here, gold is on the other side of the spectrum. So if Bitcoin is extremely bullish, gold just dropped from 2.7 to 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, if I remember correctly, right here to 2.5, and some may say it can go even lower. Okay, already broke the previous support, by the way, as you can see here. Okay, maybe I'll use an oval for you to see it a bit more clearly. It's a bit difficult because the screen is smaller, but you guys can see, right? Okay. So back to our original question, if it will get there, nobody knows. Again, my personal opinion, it can definitely get there. Look at the momentum, even in a week or so, might be more or less. So if I'll rephrase the question here, will be, I'm just going to change it to Bitcoin can get to 100,000. Definitely. We don't know if and when, but the possibility is there, no doubt. I just showed it to you on the chart. All right. What can I find? What is currently worth trading? Okay, so we have a question from Brian. When do you think? But Brian, that's exactly what I said about when I answered the question. I cannot pinpoint the specific time frame which I assume that Bitcoin can be there, because we saw the momentum, right? And we saw that it increased between 9 to 12,000 in the past, maybe around that in a week. So I can assume if it proceeds, if it will carry on with the same momentum in a week or maybe two, but I might be wrong, right? It might turn around. So this is why I cannot make any commitment, and I cannot specifically range a time frame of which, if that it will get there. It's just impossible. Okay. But keep watching the market. That's our duty as traders, right? To watch the market and be aware of what's happening. Okay, so if you're following Bitcoin, you keep doing analysis. How can I find what is currently worth trading? So this is really super simple to find. All I have to do is just to let's take the question, paste it here, and go to our. You see, there is a globy icon here, which is called Discovery. And if I'll go under Discovery, there are 5 tabs: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in here, the second one is called Market Buzz. Now, when I'm going to click on Market Buzz, it's going to take me to a screen with all kind of circles, bubbly circles. We're going to see it in a moment. Sometimes you have to give it. Okay, and we can see that NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon are right here in the middle. Maybe Amazon a little bit less, but Tesla and NVIDIA are almost the same size. Apple here as the third biggest circle. And what happens when you click on, let's go with NVIDIA, just as an example, it's showing, just by pointing on here, it's showing me dimensions, right? So it's showing me the how popular this in terms of mentions online in different articles. Now, how does that helps me understand if NVIDIA are worth trading or not? Okay, so again, all I have to do is just to click again. And I have all the data that I need. Okay, so I have here the buzzing, the mentions or buzzing, call it whatever you want. In here, it shows me the difference, how much it fluctuated. It seems like it's sitting at 146. And I can also specify, not just randomly pick an article, but I can specify which article am I interested in. So if I'm looking at the, let's say, product release, okay, so I'm clicking here on product release, and it's going to give me some nice insights. Okay, if I'm going to go through the articles here, it will give me an idea perhaps to what's happening with NVIDIA product release. Okay, and I can understand, you see there is a NVIDIA releases Jetson Thor computers for humanoid robots in 2025, company business news. I have to tell you guys that I think NVIDIA is one of the strongest. Again, I'm not recommending you if to buy or sell, but I think NVIDIA is extremely, extremely interesting to analyze. Okay, you can have, like I said, let's go back. Go back. You can find all kind of ideas through the screen here. Okay, maybe change it to a table. Yeah, if it's bubbles like that, you can just pick whatever you want. And like I said, just directly go to whatever you want. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do here is just to type here very, very simply on the web trader. Click on the globe icon. Okay. Discovery, and click on Market Buzz. Yeah, and there you can find all kind of ideas. All right. What is a good, the following question, what is a good risk and reward ratio to work with? What is risk and reward ratio? And why are we, as a trader, why is that important for me to know that? Risk reward ratio. Who can tell me what is risk reward ratio to help us enlighten us with his insights? What is risk reward ratio? Who can tell me what is it and if it's important to have a risk reward ratio? Why is that important? Okay, let me demonstrate with a horrible risk reward ratio to my opinion, and you guys tell me what do you think. So let's assume that we're gonna go for a reversal and we're gonna buy now. Actually, let's specify something to also bound price. Okay, for $5 lower. And let's aim for at least, let's go for $100 higher, I think. Of course, we can change the lot size as well. Okay, and with the stop loss, let's do it. Actually, let's keep it the same. Let's keep it the same ratio, and then we'll play with it and see what the difference is. All right, guys, let's have a look. Okay, so we are now looking at gold. We're looking at the weekly. We're looking at buying at 2,500. Okay, 2,550 potentially is our entry, and we're aiming to get to 2,650 versus stop loss at 2,450. Okay. Okay, so again, as you can see, it doesn't let me land it on a specific price. So what I can do is I can just take that, paste it in here, make it red. Again, if I want to flatten that out, I can just make that one green. Great. Now, this risk reward ratio of 1 to 1, why is this 1 to 1? Because we're planning to make 5,000, we can potentially also lose 5,000, and that is 50% of my balance. Okay, let's quickly put the numbers here. Entry 2,550. Take profit, as we said, will be $100 higher. and stop loss will be $100 lower. Okay, and okay. Of course, you guys don't have to do it the same way that I do. But this way I can easily capture where I am. Okay, who can tell me if it's important and why is that important to make this comparison? Why can I simply just click here, click here, click here, and then click buy? Why is that important to customize and make this comparison, especially to my balance moving forward with my strategy? Okay, there is an answer here from Thomas Naka. It's necessary to have a specific risk-reward ratio, as sometimes the market doesn't go on your reward you have set, while you could have secured some of that profits. Yes, that's good. That's good, the answer. However, the main agenda to design my position this way is to be able to, there is another answer, because you have to be worried what you can afford to lose. Yes, that as well. This is a one-on-one risk reward ratio, but let me make it a bit more extreme, right? Okay, so I've lowered the stop loss by another 100, and now we're looking at 1 to half. We can make 5,000. We can potentially wipe out the 10,000 that we have. So this is terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay, what I will want, at least personally, what I would aim to achieve is perhaps I always aim to make more than I can lose, right? So being this way vulnerable with either wiping my account or making 50% might not be wise. Okay, might not be wise. Again, I used extreme numbers. This is not a ratio that I would use with an account of 10,000. Okay, perhaps I would go for much lower than that, 0.05, and I would also customize here the instead of potentially making 5% or losing 10, I would fix it in a way that make much more sense. And if I'm entering it 25.50, I would want to maybe go for this one as a example. This way, I'm either making 5% or I'm losing a maximum of 2.5%. Okay, which is 1 to 2. Instead of 1 to half, which we had just a moment ago, this is now 1 to 2. That means that if I make 500, and if I lose 250. Okay, some may say that a better ratio is to slice it even more. And instead of 2,500, I might even go for a higher price. However, keep in mind that while maneuvering with the take profit and the stop loss up and down, which is farther away or closer to your entry, you also want to give the market some time to maneuver, some price to maneuver. And if you place your stop loss right, let's say not exactly on the entry, but very close to the entry, what can happen is, as you can see here, if we'll get a little closer, let's get a little closer. Okay, what sometimes can happen is it can get to a certain point and then bounce back. So that means that if I bought here and my stop loss was too close, I might eventually, on the long run, I will get what I wanted, but I would miss it because my stop loss will be triggered too fast. Is that understood? Okay, so this way I have to make sure that with my analysis I also include the small fluctuations that it can flinch down and trigger my stop loss. So while doing this risk reward comparison, you also want to know what is a good price that you don't leave yourself vulnerable, and if the market flinches against you, you're not going to lose the position, you're not going to lose the entry. Okay, alternatively, what I could do is I could go for a lower entry, and then perhaps I would be more secure knowing that if the market proceeds and go below the support, then I know that I'm safer and it might bounce back. Okay, there are many ways to do it, but in the scenario that we choose, we want to give the market some space to maneuver and not right on our entry. Okay, now the question is, what is a good risk reward ratio to work with? So the comparison that we can make is to a couple of things. One of the factors is obviously our balance. And as you saw, when in the beginning, when it was instead of 4.05, it was 0.5. Okay, the numbers were a little. I don't like the proportions of those numbers versus my balance. Okay, because that means that I cannot diverse. If I will diverse, it will be very aggressive. Think about it this way: this position can potentially wipe out 25% of my account. What happens if I have two positions, or three or four? Then I can accidentally wipe out my whole account with 4 positions. Okay, so this is a strategy that can make a lot of money, but always remember, guys, things works the other way around as well. Okay, all right. So one thing is, of course, to compare the balance and then to fix it in a way that makes sense to the percentage of your liking. If you want to work with 1 or 2 or 5%, you now know how to adjust it. And yeah, there is no generic risk reward ratio for me to tell you, listen, go for 2 for exposure and 5 for profit, or the other way around, God forbid. Okay, it needs to be included in the strategy depending on your balance, depending on your ambitions, and the most important thing, it needs to make sense. It needs to make sense. If my take profit can lead me to 10,000 profit or 10,000 loss, I'd rather just go to the casino, right? Of course, I'm not serious with what I'm saying, but I guess this extreme example can give you an idea to get your head around it. Okay, all right. So we have answered, I think, all the questions that we have, right? Yeah. Okay, so risk reward ratio can help determine how to design the position based on my ambitions, balance, and strategy. Okay. Keep in mind that the calculations that were done here was automatic, and I didn't have to go through the hustle to multiply the difference between movements and units, because I'm using the web trader and it shows me that automatically. So I can just click here on the minus or on the plus, and as you can see, the numbers change, and I don't have to make any external calculations. For people who are using MT4 or MT5, you have to do these calculations externally by multiplying the units by the movements, and this way you can anticipate what will be the potential profit or loss. There is a question here. So as a general rule, always risk less than what you can profit. I wouldn't say that as a definitive answer, because again, logically, we always need to make more than what we lose. We need to make more to keep making progress. If I design, God forbid, the position this way, okay, that's maybe I took it a bit too far. Okay, so maybe even this way. Okay, so as you can see, I'm using extreme numbers, but I guess the point that I'm trying to make is already clear. You see, does this make sense to see a positions like this? To see a position that it can either make 1,000 or wiping 4? Not really, right? I mean, everybody can do what they want, but I'm here to share with you my personal opinion. And as I said in the disclosure, I'm giving you the education that I'm giving here is from my own experience. So if somebody can make money, with taking positions like this, it's thumbs up. But I'm not gonna recommend anyone anything like that. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so those questions we've already covered. This one we've covered on the screen, and it seems like everything is great. Guys, we still have another 2 minutes. If you would like to share with me any other questions, concerns, anything that I can cover on the screen here, you're more than welcome. We still have another 2 minutes. In the meantime, I would like to share with you some links here to save you the trouble. So this is for more education. I'm just gonna paste it in the chat. I hope you guys will receive it. This is to log in and make a deposit. If you're still using the demo, having fun, and you would like to get onto the business. Of course, as much as demo can simulate and helps you get the idea, it's not real money and it's different to practice. This is for a real account. This is for the academy, but I'm going to show you now from the website how you can get to the academy without even using the link. Okay, as you can see here to the left, if I go all the way down to the bottom of those icons, we have trading platforms. Okay, and if I pass that, this YouTube icon or whatever you want to call it, there is tutorials and academy. So if I'll click on academy, it's going to take me to the academy, and above that there is tutorials. Check and click. It will open right here in the website all kind of videos which I can enjoy. Okay, all kind of things. And as a bonus, I would like to give you guys some benefits. So this is a special promotion code. Okay, this is something you can give to your senior account manager to get one-on-one premium market review. Just you and your account manager. I think there is nothing more valuable and nothing more efficient than to have a professional trader with you on the line to ask whatever you want, and this way you can enhance your experience. All right, guys, unfortunately, our time is up. I hope that I could answer the question to your satisfaction. I wish you all best of luck with trading. Have a fruitful week. Come join us next week. And until then, have a good day.